I never thought I'd say this, at Steve Mariucci. There you have it. He's our pal, long time no chat. We say hello. Steve, welcome. How are you today, buddy? Okay?
Hi, Mad Dog. How you doing? It's good to hear your voice.
There you go. By the way, did you call Izzo yet after that loss to Syracuse? I know you're his best buddy. Did you guys have a conversation after that game on Sunday or no?
I can't talk about that yet. That was hard.
Oh,
hard, right?
Steve. Oh, my gosh.
I really felt bad for his. They just couldn't make a basket. Missed their last 14 shots.
How do you get 29 offensive rebounds and the other team only has 3 team assists and you lose the game?
I know it. They really played hard on the boards, and then they just couldn't make the baskets when they had some nice looks, But it's this tournament, this March Madness has been absolutely crazy, hasn't it?
Oh, it sure has. The Marshalls, the Loyolas of Chicago, you name it. There's a million of these teams, no question about it. Go ahead.
Yeah, how about Sister Jean over there? 98 years old.
Yeah, good job there. Good job, Steve. You're on top of it. Yeah, Sister, the Jean girl there in a wheelchair, and she's seen 2 buzzer beaters right out of the gate. So there you go.
I had a Sister Jean when I was growing up. I went to Catholic school,
I know you did. I know you. So you actually haven't spoken to Izzo yet, huh?
Well, yes and no. We have.
You have. You've communicated. Okay, we'll leave it at that. Yeah, go ahead. I understand.
But anyway.
Now, all right, here we go now, quarterbacks. Do you know enough about these 4 in your own head? Forget the teams. Does Steve Mariucci know enough about these 4 quarterbacks to have a sense of which one you think will be a better pro, or are you in the dark like the rest of us?
You know what? If I were still coaching, I would, and this is what teams are doing now, you get to know these kids personally. Yeah, you'll watch the film, you break it down, you see the combine, you do the workouts and all of that stuff. But then when it's still a bag of mixed nuts. I mean, these kids are good. This is a heck of a quarterback class. And so they've got to see who they like personally. They've got to go to dinner. They've got to dig deeper. They got to get to know the kid, the person, the heart, and the spine and the head. I mean, they got to dig deeper and figure out and project some intangible qualities. I haven't been able to do all of that with all of these kids. I had Baker Mayfield on the grease board and all that stuff at the combine, Mason Rudolph, and some of these guys, but I haven't dug as deep as these coaches will. And they've got to determine who their preference is, who they want to coach, who in their mind is best for their system and their kind of guy. And these are all different kind of guys now. They're all different. They all have a chance to be successful in this league. And if Sam Darnold ends up going first, that's great. But that's not to say a Josh Rosen or a Josh Allen or Baker Mayfield won't be very successful. I think they all have a great chance because they're exciting to watch. They're not perfect. None of them are, but they all have an upside. And then you get in, even in the later rounds, there's going to be some kids that make it. I mentioned Rudolph, and there's going to be Lamar Jackson who has a chance. And a guy like Luke Falk over there at Washington State, he's going to have a chance if they go to the right team and sit and learn. So it's going to be really fun to watch these quarterbacks, where they fall. But then let's follow them for a year or 2 or 3 and see who becomes a good pro. All
right, I'll bring up a negative of each guy and tell me if you would be concerned. For Allen, the completion percentage at 56%, would that concern you next level?
Yeah, a little bit, because it's the lowest completion percentage of the bunch, and you got a Baker Mayfield at 72% or so, but then you got to take a look at the throws. I mean, some of these kids are throwing the ball on their side of the line of scrimmage a very high percentage of the time. We are now in a quarterback short passing game era where you're throwing the screens and you're throwing it horizontally and you're throwing it behind the line of scrimmage a lot. And some guys, like a Josh Allen, will do some of that, but not as often. So you got to chart the throws. What is this percentage deep? What is this percentage intermediate? What is this percentage on the run or under pressure? So you take some of those things into consideration. And a guy like Steve Young wasn't a very accurate passer when he started off either, and he became one of the greatest to ever do it. So there's room to grow there for Josh Allen.
All right, that's number one. Would you be very concerned about Mayfield's height?
Yeah, but then, I live over here by Drew Brees, and you know what? They're the same size, same guy. And so I don't want to say same guy, but same,
I get it.
Weight, I think.
Yeah.
And Russell Wilson's doing okay, right? There's only been one guy. How about this? One guy in the last 15 years that was drafted in the first round under 6'1". You know who it is?
Well, last 15 years, drafted first round under 6'1". First round. Breeze, no.
Yeah.
Wilson, no. Wow, I don't think I do. Go ahead. Who is it?
Johnny Manziel. That's it.
Wow.
That's it.
Wow.
And so obviously, what does that tell you? Well, we like taller guys in the first round. They fit that prototype a little bit more clearly. But Baker Mayfield's got a little magic to him. You know that. He's a competitor. He's got a chip on his shoulder. He's walked on the schools twice. He's won games. He's Heisman Trophy. He's just got the it factor, man. And this kid, if he goes to a West Coast offense, Chris, if he goes to a West Coast offense where they can move him around and not live from the pocket, he's going to be dynamite. And so, he's got to – and I hope all these kids get a chance to sit and watch somebody. They won't all have that luxury. For example, somebody goes to Cleveland, they're going to probably want to play him. But, somebody's going to go to the Jets and hopefully sit behind Josh McCown or Teddy or somebody there for a bit. I don't know if they're going to go early with the Giants, but maybe they take a quarterback at some point and they get to sit behind Eli. That's a good thing. And so, all these kids, they have a future, but I hope they get a chance to watch and learn a little bit.
I'd say I like Mayfield right system. Would you be concerned about the fumble problems for Darnold?
Yeah, I guess, but that's why they have coaches, and that's why they do drill work, and that's why they emphasize the heck. He played behind an offensive line that was young and banged up. He was under duress quite a bit, but yeah, hang on to the football, Sam, and be a little bit more conscious of two hands in the pocket. But that's they're gonna get that straightened out.
All right, last, and this one's a harder one to define, but I have to bring it up in this day and age. Would you be worried about Rosen's propensity for the concussions?
Well, he's missed some games, and it's been a couple different things, and so injury, the medical grade for Josh probably will be different than the other guys. He won't have quite the two thumbs up medically because he's missed games. He's cleared. He's fine. He's played now and everything. But, I don't know. That's something I would look deeper into with my medical staff, of course. You look when you start paying these quarterbacks and putting your whole future on the arm of these quarterbacks, man, you better make sure that you don't have a guy that's, has a propensity to be sitting on the bench hurt.
Yeah.
And so
yep.
That would be the negative with Josh, that he's been hurt more than these other guys.
All right. Now, do you think Dorsey at the moment at number one knows what he's going to do, or do you think he's still in the dark as far as what he's going to do with that first pick?
He's not in the dark. I wouldn't put it. You know what? I worked with John Dorsey at the Packers, man. We were all together. We had a bunch of young coaches and a bunch of young scouts, and we all kind of grew up under Ron Wolf and Mike Holmgren. And John Dorsey, he's sitting really good right now. They had a very, very busy offseason so far, brought in a lot of free agents. They've shaken and baken. They got a lot of salary cap room, and he's sitting with the number 1 and number 4 pick in the draft. My God, he's the envy of the NFL right now. But he probably knows what he's going to do with number 1 if everybody sits pat, okay? But if somebody moves up, for example, if somebody moves up to the Giants pick, number 2, let's say the Giants move out of that. And I'm sure you've been talking about that at some point.
Yes,
right?
we have. Sure have. Yep.
If somebody moves up to number 2, they're coming to get a quarterback, all right? Well, the Jets, why did they move up to number 3? You're not moving up to get a guard. You're moving up to get a quarterback, right?
Right.
So John Dorsey's going, well, if these things happen and Jets have moved and somebody could move for the Giants, I don't think they wouldn't pick a quarterback there. But if they move out of there, then the new team is going to pick one. They better pick a quarterback first. So it's the quarterback of their liking. Let's say it's Sam Darnold. He'd be number 1, okay? Whereas before, you could almost take a chance and say, I'm going to get that Saquon Barkley kid out of Penn State, number one, and then at number 4, there will be a quarterback sitting there waiting for me. I don't think that's going to be the case anymore. It looks like my guess would be that people are going to maneuver to the Giants pick number 2. Could be the Bills, could be somebody who needs a quarterback, and then quarterback's going to go bang, 1, 2, and 3. And then Cleveland's going to have their choice. John Dorsey will have their choice at number 4 for either Saquon Barkley or Bradley Chubb or somebody like that, another great pick.
Yeah, he might get. I said a couple weeks ago I would have taken Barkley at 1, and if I felt the quarterbacks were pretty close, settle for a quarterback at 4. And as it turns out,
same thing.
Same thing. There you go. And as it turns out, he might get Barkley anyway because everybody wants the quarterback. So he might get the Jets are taking a quarterback, and the Giants. See, the issue is the Giants because if the Giants don't trade out of that, they could take Barkley. And that screws him up. He doesn't get Barkley. But if the Giants trade out of that, he's going to get the quarterback and Barkley with two of the first 4 picks, which to me, Steve, is a home run if you're a Cleveland Brown fan.
Absolutely. So that's why John Dorsey's sitting in good shape right now.
All right.
He's going to get a quarterback. And I mean, he signed Tyrod Taylor, so he won't be in a hurry to play this kid. You sit on the bench and watch how we do this. That's how he's going to. And then the fans will get restless if they're 2-8. The fans will get restless. But you're talking about Tyrod Taylor. He's not chopped liver now. You got the Bills in the playoffs, are crying out loud. So he's a good guy to learn from. So whoever goes there, number 1, if it's Darnold or Allen or Rosen, you just take your time and learn how to play this pro game, and then we'll take somebody at number 4 that starts for us too.
Yeah,
we're in good shape.
I like Rosen, but a lot of people may not love him. I think Rosen, the times I've seen him, I've been impressed. All right, how about the Giants at 2, Steve? Tricky spot. They got Eli sitting there. They got a new offensive coordinator. He's trying to fix the offensive line with Soldier. He brought in a running back. All right, it's Jonathan Stewart, but he brought it back in. Yep. He seems like he's maneuvered with his salary cap money. I don't really know what the Giants. Now he loves Ernie. And Ernie, of course, he loves taking quarterbacks. If you think of Eli and Unitas, he loved, and obviously Elway. So he's got him as his mentor. But it appears the Giants might not want a quarterback with that second pick. What's your read on that? What's your read on them for a sec? Let me hear.
Yeah, if Eli's playing, and he is, okay, Eli's going to play a little bit longer. And Eli's a heck of a player. So it's like, okay, how can we get back in the chase with Eli? So it's not a sexy pick to take a guy named Quentin Nelson, the guard from Notre Dame. Maybe the Giant fans will boo on draft day. I don't know what they'll do. But you add a Quentin Nelson to a Nate Solder, who now all of a sudden you got a pretty darn good offensive line, and that's how the Dallas Cowboys made hay, with a great offensive line. And so, you mentioned Jonathan Stewart. He still has some tread left on the tire. And then, they can maybe get their quarterback unless they feel Davis Webb is capable. He's a kid from Cal a couple of years ago. He's a smart guy, a big guy, and they might have a little confidence in him being the backup guy for a little bit. Maybe draft a quarterback later on. There will be guys there. But I'm thinking the best thing for them to do is trade back, get some more picks. Pat Shurmur's, he's new there. You get a hall pass when you're a rookie head coach. You can try to build your team, and they're not going to pick second anymore. This is it. So if you're going to parlay that pick into 3 or 4 more draft choices, you do it now. You trade back, maybe with Buffalo at 12, and get a whole bunch of other picks, and you can really add to your football team. And
last thing, Steve, I did read the GM, Steve Mariucci, of course, NFL Network. I did read the Colts general manager say, we did not trade with Buffalo because we feel the tier of players drops after the first 7 or 8, and at 6, we wanted a very, very good player. We feel we're going to get one, maybe not so at 12. Is that accurate? What's your take on that for a second?
That's accurate because you're talking about Indy at 6, right?
Right, correct, yes.
Because if there's a flurry of people jumping up to get a quarterback, they don't care about that. They got their quarterback. We got to keep our fingers crossed that Andrew Luck is going to be okay to play. So they're not going to draft a quarterback 1. So who's going to be left there at number 6? Would it be Saquon Barkley, another great running back? My God. It could be a Bradley Chubb, another pass rusher over there on the turf. it could be a guy like that. Or if you want to get a boring pick, but a great 10-year Pro Bowler, again, Quentin Nelson, the guard from Notre Dame. So they will get a great non-quarterback right there because 3 quarterbacks probably will be taken before them.
Good job, Steve. Well done. We'll follow you on the Twitter. You know we love you. Keep up the good work. Thanks for a few minutes here today. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on, Mad Dog.
You take care. Steve Mariucci.